I'm Bill Sindelar, and you're watching Blister, the only show that brings you action gaming enlightenment. We're coming to you from EB Games at the Century City Mall in Century City, California. Get your chakras in order, because today we will put you on the digital path to nirvana. We'll take a look at the harmonious coexistence of vampire and vampire hunter with Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. Check out the latest in leather armor fashion in Gladiators the Galactic Circus games, and jump into the ring with the Ultimate Muscle. We're also getting cosmic with Planet Side, and we'll get reloaded with Final Fantasy Origins. But first, let's take a look at the game that tells the story of an epic struggle between an oppressed people and the iron-fisted ruler who's keeping them down. Kinda sounds like my old high school days. Here's a riddle for my peeps. What do you get when you combine boat racing, mini-gaming, first-person shooting, platform jumping, barrel hopping, and a killer yo-yo? Yes, that's a pretty good Saturday night. But you also get Haven, Call of the King, the Vegas buffet of video games. Haven might have, as the on-staff psychiatrist calls it, multiple personality disorder. It tries to be all things to all people by incorporating multiple gaming genres into a potpourri of platforming partiness. Plot time, Haven and his people are under the ruthless thumb of an alien tyrant named Vetch. The only thing that Vetch fears is the mysterious Golden Bell. This bell, when rung, can herald the return of Haven's long-missing king. Only one man has the power to ring that bell. His name, Haven. His weapon, a yo-yo. Well, not a yo-yo, but a mag ball. More on that later. Firstly and lastly, Haven is a platforming romp. You've seen this type of Rayman Bandicoot action before: the running, the leaping, the barrel smashing, the power-up collecting, the shaky bridge crossing. So familiar that it feels safe. Not surprising, since developer Traveler's Tales has given the world Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex and Sega Sonic 3D Blast. However, if this game was only platforming, then we couldn't show you this. First-person shooting. From a monorail, no less. You won't see that in any amusement park, unless, of course, you reside in Milwaukee. And if this game was only platforming, then we couldn't show you this. Haven has vehicles, planes, trains, boats, and automobiles. And two words that always bring a smile to my face: jetpack. And I'm not talking about the stuff that cleans your dishes in the dishwasher. And now it's time to rock the cradle, walk the dog, and go around the world. That's right, party people, it's time to discuss the mag ball. The mag ball, or yo-yo as they call it in the Deep South, is Haven's primary weapon of choice. Haven can use the old mag ball to attack people, barrels, and go ledge to ledge like Luke Skywalker and his sister did in that 70s movie. Another weapon that can be acquired is a shield, which can be powered up by hopping in some barrels, and who doesn't like hopping in barrels? Haven can also pick up what the scientists call a mirror shield pickup. This will turn Haven transparent for those hard-to-reach places. As you've obviously figured out by now, barrels are the key to this game. Find the colored barrels throughout the game to turn your mag ball into a laser gun, if only for a little while, and charge up your shield for that extra shield-like pleasure. If all this sounds like there's a lot going on in the game, there is. And I haven't even mentioned Haven's working creation talent, who stops at nothing to give Haven a bird's-eye view of the world. As if Haven hasn't stuffed enough gaming genres into its gameplay, you'll also get infinite lives. You'll never grow older, and you'll never die. There you have it, Haven, Call of the King. Does the game try to do too much? Maybe. But now that I think about it, is that so bad? Because there's nothing like seeing the ultimate conflict: man against barrel. You can fly, drive, swim, and run in Haven, and you've got a ton of vehicles at your disposal. This is kind of like the sci-fi version of Battlefield 1942. Anyway, to reach gaming enlightenment, you've got to face your demons. And in the case of Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, you'll literally square off against hordes of evildoers who will stop at nothing to see you fail. Now, I hope you got some holy water handy, because this side-scrolling action has never been this spooky. If you dream of being an androgynous vampire slayer, slashing your way through Dracula's castle, which is orbiting a solar eclipse in the year 2035, then you've got problems. But I've got a problem solver, and its name is Castlevania Aria of Sorrow for the Game Boy Advance. Yes, less than 9 months after the release of Harmony of Dissonance, the Castlevania franchise is already back again with another edition of the fabled franchise. Yet again, you'll find yourself winding your way through a labyrinth of a castle, laying waste to bats, skeletons, mirrormen, and of course, candelabras. Aria of Sorrow features a significant gameplay innovation for the series with its soul absorption system. As you eliminate the enemies that haunt the castle, you can absorb their souls and acquire their special powers. Kill an archer, become an archer. Kill a bone-throwing skeleton, become a bone-throwing skeleton. Kill a bat, become a winged mammal with sonar instincts and an affinity for tropical fruits. These absorbable souls give you a fighting chance to make it through the castle alive. With over 100 souls to squeeze, including jousting knights and oversized roosters, the possibilities for attack are practically limitless. But surprisingly, there's no whip this time around. Some powers become permanent abilities, like the double jump. Others must be equipped, like the ability to break down walls. Using the link cable, you can even trade souls with your friends and lovers. Just be careful if you decide to uplink to the devil. Throughout the medieval-style adventure, Aria maintains the classic Castlevania attitude. You'll be happy to revisit the simple but effective map, the secret rooms, the fantastic bosses. Fans of the franchise will be happy to learn that the gameplay difficulty is back up to par, and this edition features improved graphics and music reminiscent of Symphony of the Night. Yes, this GBA title will bring you back to the year 2035. So get excited for the medieval future and the serious soul-sucking that is Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. The Castlevania series has been putting us on the trail of evil since the days of the NES, and Konami just keeps raising the stakes. Stakes, get it? Anyway, I feel a Dance Dance Revolution coming on, so we are going to take a break. But when we come back, we'll continue our karmic quest for perfection as we hang loose in Gladiators, the Galactic Circus Games. Plus, we're going to climb into the ring and grapple with Ultimate Muscle. That's coming up only right here on Blister.
Well, we went out searching for some waves. It was pretty mellow, actually.
Man, chill out. We're trying to eat.
The car ride out was good, except Luke kept taking his shoes off.
Luke.
Foul, Luke.
We found this secret little surf spot. When we got there, the beach was totally empty. After a whole day of surfing, we just wanted to crash out.
The new Honda Element. Go with it.
Let America's favorite spy family take you into a whole new world.
This is new.
The critics are raving. Spy Kids 3D is a fantastic journey.
You could walk.
Oh, I can do more than that.
3D movie magic.
This is a historic moment.
The most fun you'll have with your family this summer.
To family.
To family.
To family.
Spy Kids 3D. The best Spy Kids movie yet.
I know.
Rated PG. Free 3D glasses at theaters everywhere. Friday.
This week, we're going back in time to the beaches of Normandy in Battlefield 1942. As your commanding officer, I order you to cheat. Gain access to more historically accurate tanks, jeeps, battleships, submarines, and dive bombers with the flawless field strategy of your fearless leaders here at Pringle's Cheat Sheet. Now get in there and give them hell, boys! For those of you looking for an advantage in single-player mode, try these cheat codes to help lower your learning curve in this extremely tough game. During any single-player battle, cheat codes are entered at the chat console, which is displayed by pressing the tilde key. Bring down the console to enter these case-sensitive codes, and you'll get a confirmation message when entering one correctly. When battling in single-player campaigns, it's very, very easy to get separated from your team, and, well, lost, too. You'll end up running around blind or inadvertently killed again and again by the enemy. Give yourself a chance to explore and learn to control the mini vehicles by entering aicheats.code jonathan.gustavson. This will kill all enemy bots during that mission. Kill all the bots, including friendlies, by entering aicheats.code thomas.skoldenborg. Now you're free to run around the map safely. Feeling guilty about using cheat codes? I know I never do. From the console, enter the code aicheats.code bots can cheat too. Yes. Finally, what we've all been waiting for. A code that allows the AI to cheat against you. Still having trouble getting the hang of the battle? Try entering aicheats.code tobias.carlson. and throw it into God mode. With the invincibility cheat on, you'll be able to run around the battlefield, even in the face of the enemy, and turn up the heat of battle. Cheat codes aside, Battlefield 1942's most popular feature is its multiplayer mode. Becoming a first-class teammate in multiplayer battles will take some real strategy. Geronimo! That's it for Pringle's Cheat Sheet.
Welcome back to Blister. I'm Bill Sindelar, and we're coming to you from the EB Games in Century City. While Russell Crowe convinced us the gladiators were not only tough, but also had the capacity to be sensitive and Australian, Tri-Synergy has a completely different interpretation on what a gladiator is. In fact, their new game, Gladiators, the Galactic Circus Games, has absolutely nothing to do with ancient Rome. This real-time strategy title puts you in a shuttle hurtling through space where your mission is to investigate a black hole. But this RTS ain't about exploration, it's about combat, and plenty of it.
All the parameters are good. Everything except what we don't know about black holes. We've done all we can. All that's left is to wait.
5, 4, 3, 2. Hold on, boys. We're gonna shake, rattle, and roll. It's showtime!
Sam J. Jones, where are you when we need you the most? You had the hair, the arm, especially that fancy t-shirt. Sam J. Jones, you are the true Flash Gordon. But in your absence, competition has arisen in the form of Greg Callahan. Yes, I know it lacks the flair and panache, but then again, it all lacks flair and panache when compared to Bill Sindelar. Our friend Callahan has a problem. He and his crew have been launched into space to investigate a black hole when suddenly...
I'm losing control!
Damn, my head is exploding.
Alert! Alert! Unidentified incoming craft!
On board the Empire's galactic cruiser, General Maximus orders his troops to battle stations. He's thrilled with the chance to massacre this strange vessel.
General, enemy ship approaching.
Prepare to attack. Don't let our prey sneak away.
A bloody fight ensues on board the bad guy's ship, and when Callahan wakes up, he finds himself in the Gladiators Galactic Circus Games. There's no Queen soundtrack to back Callahan up, but there's a princess, and she gives him a chance to survive by giving him soldiers and arenas to fight in.
Be my gladiator. Your reward will be your freedom.
Well, under the circumstances, I'll see what I can do for you.
The Gladiators is an RTS game set in a universe patterned after the ancient Roman gladiator competitions. The opening to the story is told through comic book style artwork, but once into the game, all info is handed out with cutscenes. Sort of.
We will delay her as long as possible.
Excellent, excellent. Maximus will be ground to pieces like a slice of rotten private meat.
The characters kind of bop up and down like they're grooving to music, but their mouths, in fact, their bodies and faces don't reveal too much detail. Regardless, you've given enough info to get to the combat.
You the man, Doc.
Unlike most RTS games, Callahan is not required to harvest resources to build shelters and produce soldiers.
Well done. Those troopers are yours now. Watch out for the other power-ups. There are many in this ring.
The power-ups in the game are good for additional soldiers, healing armor, and increased power. You'll also get Joker cards, which can be used for any of these power-ups. These Galactic Circus games are heavily scripted and tend to move you from attack point to the next without much use for clever tactics. Move through the arena, get attacked. Move through the arena, send a scout to drop the enemies from the foliage, get attacked. The environments are lush and detailed, and the bright graphical style has a cartoony feel. Sam J. Jones, you don't have anything to worry about. There's something about this Greg Callahan that just ain't right. Maybe it's his voice.
Oh, man. Somebody stop this monkey in my head.
See, that game looks cool. It kind of reminds me of Schwarzenegger's epic flick, The Running Man, and you know how I feel about Arnold, right? I'm sorry. Speaking of Schwarzenegger, I wonder how he'd do on Ultimate Muscle. I mean, he's got an awesome chest and all, but does he have the skills to hang with Kid Muscle and Adversarius? Well, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you need to get up to speed on your Saturday morning TV habits. But if you'd rather sleep in on the weekend than watch the coolest animated wrestling show in the world, then Bandai has good news for you in the form of Ultimate Muscle for the GameCube. So let's get ready to... Oh, just look at Ultimate Muscle. I don't need to do all that.
Tower break! Red rain of pain! German suplex hold! Muscle docking! Longhorn train! Spinning toe hold! Ultimate Muscle!
Every so often, when the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, a video game appears out of nowhere to lead us lost gaming souls to the promised Nintendo GameCube land. That game has arrived. That game is Ultimate Muscle. Ultimate Muscle is a Japanimation television show that has been entertaining Japanese fans for well over 20 years in various shapes and forms, such as animated series and comic books. And at this moment, it's the United States' turn to see just what the Japanese have found so wonderful these many years. Now, if you're a child of the 80s and grew up in the age of hair metal and Hasselhoff, you may remember toys called Muscle. This was also based on the Japanime series, and now the actual series has just started to appear on our shores. In Ultimate Muscle, the game is just the beginning of what could be a major Ultimate Muscle merchandising bonanza. Ultimate Muscle is the game that reminds me of my taste in ladies. Very Japanese, very cel-shaded, and lots of wrestling. Nobody's trying to confuse you with this game. It's a 3D fighter with simple button mashing action. 20 characters from the entire history of the franchise show up here, both old school and new wave. And the star of this game, the man bigger than Hulk Hogan, The Rock, and Goldberg combined, is Kid Muscle. The Kid continues the wrestling legacy from his father, King Muscle. Each character will have three levels of moves, including super abilities. Thank you very much. Look at this action. The punches, the kicks, the grappling, the reversals. Reminds me of home and a good Friday night. Now, this isn't just a cel-shaded 3D wrestling fighting game. Well, that's pretty much what it is, but there is a story, though wacky it may be. The new generation of the Ultimate Fighter series has been gathered by a mysterious force. Before you can say Akira, they are sent back in time and come face to face with the Ultimate Muscle legends. The only way for the new generation to return back to their own time is to increase their skills and beat the legends. Hey, it's a Japanese game. It's not all supposed to make sense. Or is it? If you don't want to play as an Ultimate Muscle character, you can create your own wrestler and put him to the Ultimate Muscle test. Like most wrestling games, 4-way multiplayer is where the true fun can be found. You'll get your tag team, your versus, and your special Olympic mode with a whole slew of wrestlers competing. You may not be aware of what Ultimate Muscle is truly about, you may not even care, but once upon a time, they said the same thing about Pokemon. And we do know what happened there. Don't let the Ultimate Muscle train leave you at the station. Pick up Ultimate Muscle the game, if only to say that you were at the very beginning of the new Ultimate Muscle Mania.
Oh, yes.
Ultimate Muscle. All right, that game looks pretty cool, but if I had to only pick one thing that makes it worthwhile, I'd say it's Kid Muscle's signature move. The butt buster. I know that's what you all wanted to see at home. Anyway, I'm going to practice my own signature move, if you know what I mean. So we are going to take a break, but there's still plenty of action coming up on Blister, because when we return, we're going planet-side for a look at the new first-person shooter from Sony, and we're getting ready to get reloaded. That's coming up only on Blister.
Blister Expansion Pack. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Blister. I'm Bill Sindelar. We're here at EB Games in Century City Mall. So you say you like massively multiplayer online games, but you're not big into battling oversized rats just so you can level up. Well then, Sony has got some good news for you. PlanetSide is a massively multiplayer online game, but its focus is on action, not spellcasting. The game is a first-person shooter, but as an added bonus, it's a persistent world, which means that while you're at work, school, or hanging with the ladies, thousands of players around the world are playing. In other words, this game never ends. Don't be fooled. The massively multiplayer online FPS PlanetSide isn't about turning your character into a level 9 million warlock. It's about combat, pure and simple. Blister is here to give you an early look at the beta version of PlanetSide, a constant online first-person shooter universe complete with characters, weapons, implants, vehicles, buildings, and landscapes. Big landscapes. When you materialize, you find yourself on the planet Oraxis, where war has erupted between the Terran Republic, the Vanu Sovereignty, and the new conglomerate. Everybody hates everybody, and everybody wants to control the world. Oraxis is broken up into 10 continents that are home to several strategically placed bases, and they are massive. These sanctuaries, as they are called, are combat-free zones where you can create a character on any island under any faction and wander around, chat, equip yourself, and upgrade your characters. By the way, upgrading your characters is also known as certifying them. Unlike most MMORPGs, there are no stats like strength or dexterity. It's how you equip and outfit yourself that separates the men from the boys, or girls, and how this is done is dependent on your certification. Certification is like money that is built up based on battlefield experience, or BEDs, and command experience, or CEDs. BEDs are built up when you fight as part of a squad, while the CEDs come from commanding a squad. Because you constantly grow and develop in these worlds, the time in which you build up the experience points is what makes PlanetSide personal. The certifications also give the universe its class-based system. They affect everything about you and everything about the way that you interact with the world. For example, at a lower class, you may not be able to pilot a ship, but you are certified to drive an ATV. And speaking of vehicles, there are all kinds. In addition to enhancing your own abilities with weapons and a nifty exo combat suit, you'll be able to drive motorcycles, dune buggies, jeeps, tanks, all the way to flying transport ships and attack crafts. After you've wandered around the sanctuary and chatted with the other locals, you can head into the jump gate, which will send you to an enemy base where you will airdrop onto their position and drop bullets. Lots of them. Since there is no AI, the combat will be faster and a lot less predictable. So just what is the point of PlanetSide? Crush the enemy, conquer their army, take their bases, hear the lamentation of their women. Okay, well, I made that last part up. Actually, the point is to make all your bases belong to us. Invade the enemy bases, wipe them out, and take control. Then, like a horde of locusts, take over the rest of the continent. After that, move on through to the next jump gate and take over the next base. Basically, take over every base on Oraxis. After that, do what you like. PlanetSide is the online gaming experience for the fast Twitch crowd. My kind of crowd. The crowd that likes to solve problems with a pull of the computerized trigger. Okay, let's switch gears from a game that's coming from the future to a game that's a blast from our past. Okay, well, it's actually 2 games, and they're coming to you in the form of Final Fantasy Origins. So it's time to get reloaded with both the original Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy II. The early 1980s spawned many trends that lasted for as long as 3 weeks. Classics like MC Hammer, hypercolor clothes, and Spuds MacKenzie. But there was also an innovation that changed the gaming world forever. The seminal RPG, Final Fantasy. Now Squaresoft is taking us back to its roots with Final Fantasy Origins, a single-disc release featuring the original Final Fantasy and the first North American release of Final Fantasy II. Origins gives the originals a little Botox enhancement with improved graphics, additional music, and some spiffy cinematics. But the main story here is the formative RPG characteristics. You could call them the origins of the RPG genre. The original Final Fantasy opens after an evil darkness has settled on the land. You mount up a 4-person posse and explore the land to restore the 4 elemental crystals, saving the land and paving the way for 17 sequels. As you meet your foes along the way, you engage in one of the first known sightings of turn-based fighting. In a very orderly manner, you throw your magic and weaponry at the opponents and then patiently wait for a response. Hit me. I dare you. Hit me. Origins also gives us the first North American release of Final Fantasy II. The title contains some of the most interesting Final Fantasy gameplay in the entire series, with an unconventional story and deep exploration into the Final Fantasy warriors. The highlight of this edition is the deeply developed cast of characters, including Dark Knight Cecil, his lover Rosa, and the martyred wizard Tella. Final Fantasy II offers a key innovation to the RPG genre with active time battle, which puts a time limit on the turn-based fighting, heightening the pace and excitement of the combat. The strategy becomes more complex with the system that divides the experience points between attacking, shielding, and magic. With Final Fantasy Origins, you'll see how much the franchise has grown, but how it hasn't strayed too far from its roots. As for Hammer, Hypercolor, and Spuzz McKenzie, well, you be the judge. I'm sticking to Origins, the mother of all RPGs. So maybe you played the Final Fantasy back when it was first released in 1990 on the NES, but unless you spent some time in Japan in the early 90s, you never played the true sequel, Final Fantasy II. Now I want to know what your favorite Final Fantasy is. I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours. So log on to our message boards at g4tv.com/Blister and let me know. That's all the time you've got for this edition of Blister. From EB Games in Century City, I'm Bill Sindelar. We will see you next time. Get on out of here. Bye. You can fly, drive, swim, and run in Haven, but... and you've got a ton of great disposals with your vehicle. I do have dyslexia. Don't laugh. But also had the capacity